I had coffee this morning. Hello guys, and thank you for being here. My name is Derek and I'm the creative behind Rhodes PC, and I'm also the host of the PC Modding and Making podcast. In this video, shut up neighbors! In this video, I wanted to show you a step-by-step process of how I built this case, how I problem solved along the way, and the techniques I used to get Eric the resin printed, painted, and have his diorama kind of scene laid out. Listen, I made this case. It took about 2 months. I recorded everything I could on my phone, run around my garage like a chicken with my head cut off, and I took all the footage, chopped it up to be somewhat entertaining, made a video. Hopefully you can learn from it and you see how I did what I did to get this. Okay, have fun. That's better. Okay, I'm not sure if you can see me, but I've got these pieces of wood kind of setting with some contact cement. I am going to drill some holes just for, being more stronger, like a positive contact or positive connection, and then drill the holes for the dowels. But while the contact cement is setting, I'm just going to use a hot wire and give my foam a bit of detail, because we're kind of getting to where I can almost go over it with plaster. But before that, I want to add as much detail as I can. Hopefully you can see everything. Hey guys, hopefully you're enjoying the video so far. I know it's a lot of time-lapsing and kind of going back and forth as I work with Eric the resin to get him painted. I'll be honest, he's actually been quite a difficult painting process. Not done yet, that's why he looks so red in the face, but I've just found a lot of the seam lines difficult to deal with. And the resin itself, I did a base coat with the airbrush that you saw, and my paint didn't adhere to the resin print as much as I'd like. So there's been parts where he's been rubbing off. So what I've had to do there is kind of re-prime and re-base coat. It's been a little bit messy, but as I've been working with him, I've been enjoying the model more and more. I think he's pretty cool. Obviously there's lots of details left to do, highlighting, blending. The skin color is going to change, the hair color is going to change. He's got his ponytail. But there he is there. I just had to order a new compressor for my airbrush. The compressor I've got just isn't working out. And the airbrush is really important for this guy, for how I want him to look, to add the shadows, you know, in places. So I'm just gonna kind of pause Eric for now, and we're gonna move on to the case. I'll show you it here now. Well, I'll bring him back. But here's the case in its current form. Let me just check the camera. Okay, that's better. I just raised the tripod up a little bit. But here's the case in its current form. So the front piece, we're gonna do a wooden piece on the CNC, but still allow for the 3 fans to mount. For air intake, air exhaust at the back and the top. And the scene is gonna kind of run over the whole thing, but this panel and this side is the most important. It's covered up here, but this is the shield. I've got these axes, they're glass. Oh, the heater just kicked on, sorry. The glass and where the parts will go would be on the inside, so you're really gonna have this kind of scene on your desk with this computer, but I'll show you what I'm gonna do here now. Where Eric will stand, it's gonna be somewhere like, something like that. Ah, he's on there. It works. I gotta take a picture. Okay, sorry. Just had to pause and take a couple pictures. This is the first time I've actually had him mounted with the bit of texture done, his paint job on here. So obviously he's a little bit tipsy, but whoever does put this case in its final home likely will want to add some glue or something like that to kind of hold him down. Could also add a bit of a cup for his feet. But that's cool. So what I'm going to work on now, I'll get him out of the way. What I'm going to work on now is adding the texture to the edges. Bring this stuff together, clean this up, and work the wooden pieces and this stuff to have some rocks and texture looks. And what I'm going to use for that is good old Plaster of Paris. So this is for drywall. And Ron Christensen of Blue Horse Studios is a super good friend, and he pointed out that this stuff is actually excellent for a project like this, because in the past I've just used foam clay or modeling clay, or even just this XPS foam for everything. He said this stuff will really help. And in 20 minutes it sets up, so it's not a long process. So I wanted to get the case all together and primed before this step, so that as I'm working on it, I can get one big full picture, you know, like if I was to go panel by panel and keep it all apart, I might not realize that this corner isn't going to work with this corner when I go to put it together. So I like to have everything almost done even when I go to do the really messy part. And then I'll tear it all apart after, but for now this was important. And I also wanted to point out that I've got some EVA foam behind the shield that helped me kind of bring it all in nice and flush. And this is foam, XPS insulation foam. So what I used to prime it all, to give it all a nice look, was a Army Painter terrain primer. I picked this up at my hobby shop, Tactical Magic Games, love you guys. I picked it up at the hobby shop, but this is safe for foam and styrofoam and glues. So like the wood glue and the stuff that I have in there, I like to use this, and I use this on Omni, I use this on my diorama, I use this on the castle for Elden Ring. This is one of my my hidden secrets, is this stuff. Army Painter's terrain primer, safe with all kinds of materials, but foam is why I use it. So the process for this stuff is to mix 1 part water with 1 part plaster, mix it into a tub, and kind of apply it. So I've never used it before, so I should probably put it on a test piece first. I might not, I haven't decided. But I'm gonna throw the video into a time lapse. I'm sure you guys are getting used to that style by now. I just feel like you don't wanna sit there and watch me mix and dab and mix and dab. You'd rather hear what I'm doing like this, and then we'll skip ahead to when it hopefully looks good. Okay. Yeah, so gonna go into a time lapse and you'll see me mix this stuff and start to apply it over the case and see if we can add some rocks and kind of details to our Viking scene where Eric the resin has just conquered his enemies on top of a cliff. Vikings used to fight on the top of cliffs, right? Or like yell up the top of cliffs. He must have done something with cliffs because it wouldn't make sense otherwise. Okay, time lapse. Wow, this turned out so much cooler than I expected. And I really, really loved working with this material a lot more than I expected. Just simple wall putty. But the way it interacts with the XPS foam on top, I can see when this dries and you paint a gray and do a black wash with all the little recesses and nooks and crannies that this plaster created, it's gonna be so cool. And like, there's parts in this you can't really see from your guys' camera angle. Obviously it's still drying. But it just come look. Forgive the camera. Yeah, you know, I'm just gonna pull you out of the tripod. No, I'll keep it on the tripod. I want to show you something. Okay, mind you, okay. You're getting to see all angles of my garage here. There's a boxing gym over there. Okay, let's lower this down. I want to show you, sorry, my tripod is kind of cheapo. Like, look at this. I was able to do just a really thin layer of the plaster all on here. And like, this is where your, your power button, your reset button, and your USB ports are. But this, when it dries, will have just kind of a grainy texture to carry the theme, and I'll paint it. And of course, this is going to be fans, so I didn't want to cover this up because I do want it to be a functional case. I might add a little trim or something. We got our axes holding stuff up, and then let's just peel this off. Oh, sorry, did I wreck the camera? Let's just peel this off. So I have this taped. Let's see if we can get it off before the stuff dries, and you'll see. So there's our power button. USB, yeah, perfect. I just think that the texture that's gonna give is so cool. And like, once I painted gray around the interaction between all the edges, with gray and a black wash on top is like all it's gonna take with some highlights. And then we got our aluminum axes and the computer parts. And of course, Eric, the resins are gonna be on top. Yeah, wow. I'm using that in like everything I do from now on. That was awesome. Okay, while I have the plaster and the primer on the case drying, the case is just over to my left, I have a chance here to make the panel for the front. So I want to do a wooden panel around the front, 3 intake fans of the case, and it's just going to have a simple kind of, it'll say Alexander PCs, as well as Rhodes PC, because it's a collaborative project. So to do the carving, I'm going to use a V-carve bit. And what I have here is a 1/8 inch hardboard. Okay, me and Eric, so this is Eric the Resin. I don't know if that name's gonna stick. But we're finally ready to grab the case, place Eric onto the scene, and add our black wash. So that's what you're gonna see. I just wanted to quickly thank you if you stuck around for this far of the video. I know this one's probably gonna be a pretty long kind of build video, but there's a lot of steps in this process and for what we're building. So I'll jump it into another time lapse and you'll see me grab the case. I got some skeleton bones to place. We'll get Eric on there and then we'll start with the black wash. All right. I thought maybe I should mention what I'm using. So when you see me stick the skeleton bones and kind of debris onto the scene, I'm just using crazy glue, CA glue. But the other bottle is the kicker, they call it. So you do the crazy glue and then you give it a shot of this and it dries instantly. And it really holds strong and helps you kind of speed up your work process. I really love using that stuff. So the next step is going to be to spray the whole scene into black wash and a brown wash to give it some texture and tones, and kind of the wash will really sit into the recesses. And then I'll be soaking out the excess wash just with some paper towel. I think that'll really, it'll really add some life to the scene. I'm excited with this part. I like this part. Trouble. Wherever it can, but man, it looks cool. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's super windy outside. Oh yeah. Yeah, he's done. What do you guys think? This has been a really long project for me, and I have to call it done because I booked photos for tomorrow. So projects like this, sometimes you just gotta pull the plug and call it done, because I could keep going forever, adding trees and shrubbery or whatever, blood, things like that. But I like them. I like the model. I like the case, and I'm really excited to see what the build looks like when Alexander PCs is done with it. If you've watched this whole video, thank you. Thank you. It means a lot. It's been me running around my garage with my phone for 2 months working on this thing. And I know my editing and my video isn't the greatest, but I hope that you enjoyed it. Maybe you saw a couple things that you could try on your own. The Plaster of Paris, painting the model, things like that. Yeah. Any comments, questions, reach out. Rhodes PC, and I also do the PC modding and making podcast. And keep an eye out for this build. Once Alexander PCs gets it, I'm pretty sure their social medias are going to promote a cool build. All right. Thanks, guys. Have fun.